So what I want us to do is to start becoming more conscious, start choosing things in a better way for ourselves, and start creating a life that's going to gear us to really take advantage of the opportunities that are going to show up for us in the years to come.
This podcast is brought to you by The Integrated Human. We work up, down, inside out to plug yourself into your potential. If you want to see what we are up to and what's next, sign up to our newsletter or follow us on social media. If you like what we are doing, we really appreciate it if you can like our post on social media and YouTube and help us grow.
All right. Welcome to the Big and Small Podcast. I'm Jason Shields and I'm big.
And I'm Marit Döbersen and I'm the tiny one.
Yo, yo.
Yo.
Oh, seems like forever.
You're so far away.
I know. I mean, they did old switcheroo on us. We have a completely new setup.
I started this year saying we are upgrading our podcast.
Yep.
And we are doing our best.
Yep.
We have now invested in Riverside.
Oh.
Hopefully this will be one of the programs that will take us to another level.
So that we can flow podcast out into the universe.
Exactly.
Riverside.
First one, not so successful. Content, perfect.
Yes.
Visuals, not that much. You were sitting, looking to the side, and I looked like I had gotten a big job done.
Yeah, well.
But we have progressed.
Yes.
We have turned this podcast studio. We have pivoted it.
Wow.
So hopefully this will be better.
Yes.
I now have a giant spine behind my head because we are, after all, in a chiropractic office.
That's true.
This will be changed in the future. So if anyone has a suggestion what I should have as a background, send us a direct message, please.
Bring it.
Yes, but it has been a long time since last time.
Yeah.
So what has happened since last time?
So much. Flow states was an amazing experience.
Very well. Very nice.
Things have been leveling up everywhere, I think. We worked on mission.
Yeah, that was the theme of last Flow State.
Finding your mission. And that's super important because in today's age of total distraction and addiction, you have a situation where more and more of what we do every day serves other people's missions in life and not ours, which pretty much sucks.
Yeah, and I like what you said in the weekend. You said if you don't know what your mission is, you're serving someone else's mission. And
that's
people
correct.
Are like,
oh my God.
I don't want to live for others. I want to live for myself, which I should.
Yeah.
Of course I should. So it was an amazing weekend.
But that's such a great point, and it's one of those shocker situations, right?
Mm.
Yeah. So,
but mission is also very big. We were having fun with Mission Impossible.
We were.
Me and Jason was dancing on stage.
Oh, it was awesome. Sneaking around, shooting spies.
Yes.
Being very sneaky. Yes. And we made every impossible mission possible. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. So it's very interesting. Well, before I start on this, I need to ask the Marit, do we have any questions for today?
Not today.
Okay. Because then I want to share an extremely important process that happened during the flow state around emotions and talk about how people are so unconscious around a lot of the things that are going on inside them.
Really cool. So then we can just say, if you're new to this wonderful podcast, Flow State, our Flow State workshop, that's our big flagship event. That's when we meet for a weekend to actually go deep into ourselves and reorganize yourself and find out what you want and how you think and how you talk and what triggers you have and what's stopping you actually from living a life of freedom.
Yeah.
Every one of us are, like we said, you said very well, we're not alike. We have the same worth as human beings, but we're not the same. And our weekend specialize in you discovering who you are and your triggers and your uniqueness. Because what's so wonderful is that you have a great range of. You have doctors of chiropractic there, other than Steve and Jason.
And medical doctors.
And medical doctors. Yeah. You have lawyers, you have engineers, and you have stay-at-home mom and dad. So you have the whole spectrum. You have nurses, you have caretakers, performance people. You have
military.
Both. But this, no matter what, the process of identifying is going to be the same. Although the answer one find in oneself going to be slightly different. So that is a flagship event where we really go deep on, we have a system, what we will introduce later, but we then go deep on one of these segments in the system. So this time we had mission.
Yes. from the up, down, inside
Inside
out
out.
process. Mission was the focus, and trying to explain to people how much impact things have on them that they're not really aware of. If I were to ask you right now to write down on a piece of paper how many emotions you could list, you probably in your mind would be like, oh, I could list all of them. Yeah, no problem. Like what, 100, 30, 50, something like that, right? But I challenge you to stop the podcast right now,
Stop it.
if you weren't at flow state, and literally write down as many emotions, happy, sad, I'm just okay, as many emotions as you can manage. So if you'd like to do this experiment with us, you can. So then we had people raise their hand and say, okay, put your hand down when we reach the number of emotions that you actually could write down. And we said 1. Okay, everybody could do 1. So nobody put their
Yay.
heads down.
Great success for everybody. Because when you attend the flow state, you will succeed.
Yes, you will. Exactly.
Sales pitch.
Yeah, exactly. That's actually true. So, and then like 4, okay, still everybody could list more than 4. But when you got to 7, most of the men's hands dropped. And you're like, oh, I could do way better than that. Really? If you're average, you can't.
You had like 1 minute and you could not Google.
Yeah, you can't Google, you can't cheat. And I think we gave them like 5 minutes or something like that.
I had a friend next to me and said, I give you 1 minute per emotion.
Yeah, exactly.
He had 6.
Exactly. And then we got to 10, and then almost all the other men's hands went down, right? And then we got to like 15, and then many of the women's hands start to go down, okay, after 15. But I said, now look at how many women's hands are up now, and look at how many men's hands are down. And they looked around and he said, and now you wonder why there's an issue? And of course, that's, first of all, super, super funny, because when you really see it like that, then you understand that men in general are not equipped to handle the spectrum that is a woman at all. We have so few tools in relationship to the ladies that it's very difficult. But guys, there's still hope. There's one of our heroes.
We have a solution.
We have a solution, but also a good example. So we continue to go on and said, okay, what about 20? And then all the guys, of course, except for 1 is gone, and almost all the ladies. And then it's like, okay, 24. And when 24 had been hit, 1 man was left standing with 5 ladies. Okay, now think about that. So he's my, own personal superhero. Like, that guy is amazing. If you come to a flow state, you'll know who he is, because he's a wonderful, amazing human being. But imagine that 24 emotions writing down, and you're thinking, well, that's a lot. But then Marit puts up on the screen
30 inward and 30 outward.
Yeah, 60 emotions. And people are like, what the hell?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's like, so, and when you look at them, and I said, okay, now stop. Now we know that the highest achievers here got 24 emotions. And everybody agrees. I said, okay, now what I want you to do is I want you to raise your hand every time I mention one of these up here that you've had. And they start raising a hand on everybody, on every one of them. Everybody has had every single one of those emotions, and they recognize it. But consciously, they don't recognize those emotions. They don't even know they have them consciously. So that means that a whole bunch of stuff is happening on the inside that the head is not registering. And that is part of what makes things extremely difficult for us as human beings. Because have you ever been driving a distance and then suddenly realize, oh my God, I haven't been paying attention, but you've been driving for like an hour or 2? That automatic part of your body is what basically is running your life. So doing this work with the flow state continuum, going deep into your subconscious and restructuring yourself so that the frames you set on your life are purposeful, are on purpose, on your purpose of your course, that, my friends, is the next level, right? So anyway, so then we took them yet another place, which was, I asked, so everybody has 3 major emotions that are happy, like, or positive, and 3 major emotions that are negative that they do.
That is very easy accessible.
Yeah, which is your kind of your fallback.
Yeah.
When things are bad, are you a person who gets sad? Are you a person who gets angry? Do you get depressed? Do you get frustrated? Do you rage? Do you just
Vengeful.
cut and run? Do you get vengeful? Like, you're going to have a thing that you do. And if you really look at yourself, you know it's true. No, I just respond perfectly to the situation. No, 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 no. Like, one of your friends he starts to giggle where you start to cry. You're always going to have a thing that you do. So I said, okay, give you 5 minutes, figure out what your things are. So they start writing and thinking and looking at situations that they go through and kind of remembering back in their life. And everybody could name 3. And then
3 positive, 3
3 positive,
yeah. It could name 6 in total.
So 6 in total. And then I said, okay, now which of these emotions was on the original list that you wrote before you saw the list? Not a single person had a single emotion that was on the first list. And that's the thing that they do the most all the time. So understand that the patterns that you have are kind of like when you're driving the car and you realize, oh my God, I haven't been paying attention, but you don't remember 3 kilometers or 3 miles behind you what you passed. You kind of weren't there. Right?
Was there a car there? Was not a car
exactly
there?
What car was that? Yeah, exactly. So a lot of these patterns that rule us, if we haven't made them purposeful or of a matter of course, because we have a mission and we have a direction, then it's really random. And then, like Maud had said, then you're serving somebody else's purpose. Showing up and discovering what's going on the inside, pop the hood, look in the motor, what's going on in there, is so valuable that a tiny change there can change your whole life. And it's not really about, I'm going to do this one little thing and then I'm suddenly going to be rich and famous and beautiful and not need the boob job or not need the steroids or the hair implants or whatever. It's not about that. It's about you living your best life. And that happens one change at a time. So very interesting process. Did you see any big changes in the people that were there?
You've seen it over time now.
Yeah,
you have, but it's hard to identify, and I don't want to put people on the spot. But it's been we had people having changes happening after a session. Was a lady that was terrified of had been in a car accident not many weeks before. Terrified of driving her car, but one of the sessions she healed that. She told us so she could drive a car again, which is very convenient when you live in Voss.
Yeah.
If you want to take the train or the bus, good luck. They are here. They do exist, but they are not convenient if you're not a school kid. I've also had people now been going with us for 6 years now, or 3 years with flow states, and they made massive changes.
Yeah, exactly. It's very cool. 3 years of flow states makes a huge difference. Yeah, because it's leveling up and owning pieces of your life. That's so cool. It's amazing. So the next flow state's going to be about roles.
Roles.
Yep. And you can have 3 conscious major roles, just like you have the 3 fallbacks and the 3 uplifting emotions that you do and when you basically are put in a positive charged or negative charged situation. But your roles are very important because, your role at work is going to be different than your role at home with your kids, hopefully.
And then roles are very important. The reason why we're doing roles next time is slightly asked for it. Roles for me, which I've been doing this for many years now, it's one of the major one that when I need to reorientate myself, I go back to my roles. So one of my fallbacks is anxiety, and often an anxiety driven by overwhelm. I want to be 100 things at once. You want to be a daughter, a wife, a worker, a friend,
doggy mama.
You want to be a perfect CEO. You want to serve all the patients in the clinic.
Athletes.
You want to be a world-class athlete. You want to be able to, even though I don't train 20 hours a week, now it's only 14. You want to be able to perform as I did when I was 20. I had 20 hours, and that was my athlete, was my first priority. So you kind of get overwhelmed, and then you on top of that, and we see that a lot in the practice, and that was kind of because we talked about what to take up next time, and I said something that she mentioned in the trauma releasing exercises courses, and that is that before, from 2000 up to 2013, in the clinic where we do chiropractic, you could say they're coming in because they have acute pain because I lifted X wood, a child, did too much cleaning, was in the yard, I wish I haven't been in 6 months, and I've spent 6 hours on my knee digging.
Yeah, and
like
in the small, that was the largest percent. That's
yeah,
like
you could
97% of
exactly
people.
you can pinpoint
Yeah.
what has happened.
Yeah.
You also had some things that came over time, but you kind of knew, yeah, I've been a carpenter for 15 years.
Yeah.
I kind of hit my head a couple of times and fallen a little bit.
Yeah.
But you had specific things. It was usually an event that happened that triggered something, like issues for if you've been in the yard or something like that. But now it's like I just have pain.
Yeah.
I have pain, and
Yeah.
I'm stressed.
Yeah, people have that's exactly right. They come in and they say I have pain, and they know they're stressed out, but weirdly enough, they sometimes can't even point at where they have pain.
Yes.
Yeah, my back hurts. Okay, is it your upper back or your lower back? Well, yeah. So is it here? No. Is it there? No. Okay, this is your back. Yeah, my back hurts.
But before you could kind of say left there.
It hurts right freaking there. Yeah, exactly.
There's the spot. Yes, there you go.
Exactly.
And she said, because I've been to like 40 theory courses.
Exactly.
She says that, from 2013 specifically, it changed. Something switched in the meta.
Yeah.
Something increased, and the people come in that have pain. They have headaches. But it's not a specific thing. I did my accounting for 48 hours and was sitting like this. Yeah. So you don't have those things anymore. It's just pain.
Yeah.
You have them,
but the percentages of the people
but also,
who are just like,
before it was accountants that sat that long before a computer screen. Yes. Now they're teenagers.
Now they're everybody.
And you, when you're on your phone, you have 3, 4, 5 hours of screen time a day.
Yeah.
Your head drops forward. But it's such it's not a specific event, or it's the you call it in Norwegian årsregnskap.
Yeah, exactly.
They have the yearly accounting thingy.
Yes, exactly.
So it's just too much. We don't have
tax return.
And so we're talking about this and said this is a pandemic.
Yeah, that's way more of a pandemic than COVID ever was.
What's happening now? Yeah. And I said, one of the things that has helped me tremendously in all phases of the process I've been going is identifying my roles, understanding them, accepting them, loving them, and really owning those 3 roles.
And one other thing, this is also a big thing that Marit and I are also having conversations often with, being totally okay with the things that fall outside your roles, because that's not part of your mission.
Was the next thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because it keeps you oriented.
Yes.
So when you're not able to cover that birthday party, I don't know, friend is number 25.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you have 25 other things you prioritized before. I know, I understand. Like I said, you can do everything, but you can't be everywhere. So you have to decide on what to prioritize.
Yeah.
Which you really can on these, when you identify the roles.
Yeah, and you have peace with it, right?
Exactly.
Because
you forgive yourself. It's like, I wish, but I have 24 hours a day. I have 7 days a week. I need to sleep 8, and I refuse to, because if I don't sleep 8 hours, that really affects role 1, 2, and 3. Sorry, I'm not gonna bake it. I'm gonna buy the cake.
Yeah, you can buy a cake instead.
I'm gonna buy the cake instead of making it.
Exactly.
I wish I could have the time to make it, but I don't.
Yeah, and it would be amazing if you came with something else, but that's not what's happening right now.
If baker was my 3rd role, I would do it.
Absolutely.
Baker is not my 3rd role.
Exactly. And baker and or person who provides the best possible baking goods at a school fair.
Exactly. It's not my priority.
Nope.
God bless the people that have it, because I love cake.
You gotta love them. We love cake.
But it really helps you orientate.
Exactly.
And you could say, but why do you need to work a weekend on it? It's because it's a lot harder to really identify and own that than one would think. And also how deep that actually affects both the process up and down.
Yeah. We often tell this story of your wonderful, beautiful husband. And he was doing a lot of competition in jiu-jitsu for a while. And it wasn't that it was going bad, but
it was going bad.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't want to say it was going well.
He has he won one fight once.
Yeah,
I think.
He did.
I think he won one in London Open.
Yes, and that's the one I remember.
Yeah, you're gonna. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
But he fought Europeans.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
been in
Yeah.
Europeans.
Oh,
he
yeah.
fought Rome.
Oh yeah. 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 Like this guy was out there
he's
putting
been,
the money,
working.
putting the time, putting the workouts. Like the guy was putting his body at risk.
His poor hands with being a chiropractic student.
And when we sat down in the circle of athletes, I had everybody tell me what their 3 major roles were. And being an athlete, competitor, was number 1 on Modest's list and wasn't even on his list. And then there's no way, shape, or form that he can ever become an elite athlete, because if you can only prioritize 3 major roles and do those things 100%, all the other stuff comes a little bit randomly, comes a little bit when it can.
Yeah, but I think even worse is nothing to be, for me, I agree with what you're saying, but it's more than being a top athlete. It's just that it's not safe for him to compete.
That also.
Which was also why, because you also talked about that with him.
I agree.
Where we did, because you mentioned that time, said you shouldn't compete. And he like, what do you mean? Well, it's not going to be safe for you. You have chiropractic student, that's number 1.
Yeah.
And you're a white belt, which is the most dangerous belt that exists, because all the accidents happen there. Mm-hmm. What happens if you break your thumb?
Yeah.
And if you don't have this as number 1, then, because you shouldn't, because you are a chiropractic student, so that should be number 1. Mm-hmm. It's actually not safe.
Yeah, because if you're not going in as trained, as focused, and prepared as the guy who puts it number 1, then you are going to be his victim.
And the chance of injury gets us higher.
Yes.
Your students, your economy is not good. So you should prioritize, because his roles were a chiropractic student, a husband and brother.
Yeah.
And then you should prioritize your money to get home to your family and wife.
Yes.
Not to go compete in a sport where you pay to compete.
Yeah, exactly.
But for him, there was really the safety thing that that makes total sense.
Yeah.
So then he stopped competing, but continue training.
Exactly. And continue training, because training is good for you, and jiu-jitsu is fun, and it's good for your body and all that. But, I knew going in when I was competing that I had to have it as one of my priorities. So I had a coach and mentor as number 1. I had chiropractor as number 2, and I had competitor as number 3. And that's okay. I still became a world champion with that.
But then it's within the roles.
It's within the roles. And in fact, each one of them served the other, actually. So, and I didn't get submitted in any of my fights.
Because he couldn't, because chiropractic was number 2. So if he got submitted, the chance of him getting injured was very high. And then he couldn't treat his patients.
I couldn't treat my patients. So I couldn't sacrifice number 2 for number 3.
Exactly.
So that means that if I'm going to participate in jiu-jitsu as my number 3, I had to be so good that
number 2 was safe.
That number 2 was safe. And me winning in number 3 also fed my number 1, which was being a coach and mentor. And then we have lots of great athletes that came out of our gym, right?
Exactly.
So all of these things are connected, but not the same. And then you have a mission when they're all connected, but not the same.
And we had a conversation yesterday. Well, Monday was about my roles, because I'm in the process of re-identifying my roles.
Yes.
Because I've been changing a lot, and yes. I need to have a look at it. And then it was an interesting thing, because like I said, I train 14 hours a week, and I'm not sure yet what my third role is. So we were talking back and forth. Said, yeah, well, what about athlete? You are an athlete. We said yes, but that falls into role 1, which is CEO, because to do the job we do integrated human, you have to be in shape.
Yes,
isn't of course. Yeah. To stay in shape. So that's also why the roles are so important, and we can. In the process we're going to have in September, we're going to really work on what is included in your roles, like what does it capture? And it doesn't take away, it just makes more direction.
And clarity. It makes it clear. So how do you make a decision, left or right? Well, your mission and your roles are going to be, it's going to be very clear, left or right. Oh, right. No problem. That's easy. Are you going to supersize that or not? It's easy. No.
Yes.
Or yes, right? Exactly.
On your roles.
On your roles, right? And these things give you, the left and right edges of the way you behave and way you choose and what you want. I think it's such a beautiful thing. And again, if you're not doing it consciously, then you're living after somebody else's mission. And people look back at their life and say, oh, I regret this or I regret that. But the people who did things consciously, as that old song, they did it their way, they never regret because they made a choice. It's like, yeah, I could have maybe eaten more pizza, but probably that's not the thing, right? You know, the things that you chose and you did with all of you, how can you put all of you into random stuff? You can't. It has to be chosen. And that's actually something else that I brought up in the flow state that I felt was valuable and important. And that is exponential progress, exponential growth. If I ask the people who are listening, love y'all, to quickly, and I'll be ready, quickly put together 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6.
24.
Yeah, right? But if I said 6 times 6 times 6 times 6, yeah, but yeah, as soon as I start timings that and, you know, putting the multiplication there, some math whizzes, you know, did the multiplication table and they go, okay, 6 and there's 4 of them. And then I can figure that out that it's going to be this and this and this, you know, 64, whatever. But most normal people, as soon as you start to give them multiplication, they fail. And that's why they consider compound interest on the money the eighth wonder of the world. Because if you have a person, if you have two twins and they both start saving money at different times.
Sorry.
Yeah.
We just got balloons up on our screen.
Oh, wow. That's cool. Yeah, that's right. That it does that now. Like if you make certain hand signals that you get like thumbs up or balloons or whatever.
Yeah, now we got a thumb up.
Yeah, right? I'll try to keep my hands in my pockets. Anyway.
It's going to get better, people.
Yes.
Let's give it some time. Or if you like the balloons, send us a comment. I will not take it away.
Yes, that's right. But anyway, you have two twins and they're going to start saving the same amount of money every month. And the first one does it from the age of 25 to 30 and then stops saving money. And they save money into an account that has, you know, let's say normal bank interest, right? Let's say 5% interest. But then you have the other twin that starts saving when he's 30 and saves all the way until he's a retired person. And you're going to ask yourself at the end, who has the most money in the bank? And your head's going to say, of course, the guy who's been saving from 30 until 60, 65, right? But the reality is because the interest increases the size of the money that's being saved, and it compounds times and times and times and times, the guy who saved early and stopped at 30 and never saved anything else is the one that has the most money. It's insane. The mathematics don't make sense because our brain doesn't handle that. In the same way, when you understand your roles and your mission in your life, the improvements you consciously make in your life become compounding. They multiply. You know, like a lot of people are like, yeah, I like to play soccer. Yeah, but you're not like Ronaldo, right? Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, because he's born different. No, since he was a child, he consistently worked specifically every single day on his role as a football player. I'm pretty sure you haven't, right? If you're sitting there, yeah, I like to play football once in a while or soccer. No. You don't understand. It becomes an obsession because he very clearly has defined what his area of expertise is going to be. And then he makes all of the improvements. You know, if you ask him to draw a pig on a piece of paper, or you asked him to, you know, write you a poem, or, you know, if he can do any of those things, it's completely random. Put no energy on anything else but that one role as a football player or as a teammate, or maybe hopefully for his girlfriend, a boyfriend. But he has those roles clearly defined from when he was a child. That's the difference between people who are multiple time world champions and people who aren't. They consciously choose. And then the improvements they make in their life aren't, yeah, I can draw a little bit better here. I'm a little bit better citizen because I learned something about my civic duty, and I learned a little bit about, you know, saving money on sour cream every third week, and I read the newspaper and I'm really more informed about some weird political fight in New Jersey or whatever. It's like, why waste your time on that stuff? That's adding things to your life, maybe, but it's not compounding your results. And that's what it's all about, compounding your results. So, and if your results are happiness, that's a lot of happiness.
Yeah, that took it a little bit far for me.
Like,
your eyes are going like, I'm like, okay.
Am I too intense?
You're a little bit intense.
Yeah, I just want people to know.
Yeah,
I want people to know.
The point is,
yes.
I can
Yes,
change. It's a reason why we we didn't set across from each other.
Yeah.
I realized.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to calm down. No.
Anyways, we talk about the. And I lost the thread here. We are about to finish off now, but when you do small changes within your roles, which is identified, you get much more out of it than if you do a little bit here and a little bit there.
Hallelujah.
Thank you.
That's right.
And
good.
roles really. That me?
That's a phone.
Now my dad is calling my computer.
No, it's on there too. We'll get better.
So sorry.
We'll get better.
And I'm showing you guys, we are ad hoc. That was not the do not disturb. I don't understand this. But we talked about the reason why we do roles is because a lot of people trying to be 100 things at once.
That's it.
Hence why we get overstressed and overwhelmed and do not know what to do.
And feel like we don't have traction in our lives.
Yes,
that's why.
Exactly. And that's why roles going to be on the next post date in September. If you hunt, I have taken care of you. I have made sure that we don't have it the first weekend of September. It's
Hallelujah.
the third weekend of September.
Yes.
18th of September, if I'm not mistaken. Hope to see you there.
So remember, you matter. Unless you multiply yourself by the speed of light squared, then you're energy. But if you can't be energy, matter.